Hello and welcome to Ground Zero on Herald TV. Every time Goa was faced by major crises like merger, language identity, regional plan or the most recent railway double or the IIT Goa which threatened the existence and the identity of Goans, masses led by like-minded organizations stood up, created a resistance and thwarted the attempts.
Development also is an abuse term. Development of what? Your greed, your pocket, your profits. What are you developing?
The vision of our government has been to plunder, destroy. So it's very clear that it's the people of Goa who have fought.
Take for example the agitation against the acquisition of the land for IIT. The first Indian Institute of Technology campus in Goa was announced in May 2016 after the centre allotted the Autonomous Institute to the state in 2014. A 300-acre permanent campus was proposed at Loliye village under the Loliye Pole Panchayat in South Goa. However, after massive protests, the government decided to cancel the site. Later, it was identified in Shel Melauli in Satri Taluka of North Goa, but the project over there had to be shelved due to protest by the people citing the environment. The third attempt was in Kotarli in Sange, which also met with protest and eventually was cancelled. Now, Rivona has been selected for Goa IIT. Same is with the regional plan RP 2011, which was introduced in the year 2006. Witnessed massive agitations opposing the draconian plan, which was struck down after the public opposed the plan lock, stock and barrel. The most recent was the agitation against the railway double tracking through Goa, a prolonged agitation which had its impact in 2 elections in the state, eventually being dragged to court and put in the dangerous manner it was being pushed. Pratik Parab spoke to activist Abhijit Prabhudesai and Zarina Dcunha. Listen in.
There have been several protests and public agitations that happened in Goa to protect the identity of Goa, to protect the lands in Goa. The most recent one we saw was about the Perne zoning plan. After it may have been concluded quite soon, but there have been agitations which were mass and statewide, and which were supported by several NGOs, several people who had like-minded ideas to protect Goa. 2 of them we have today. One is Zarina Dcunha. She has been part of various organizations who have been on the forefront of protecting the interests of Goa. And also the person who doesn't need any introduction is Abhijit Prabhudesai. He has been there for a long time in various agitations to protect the state's interest, the public interest. He has been a part of the agitations where public came out in large. We'll talk to them and try to get a sense about the overall picture of right now what Goa is going through. First, to you, Zarina. There is a continuous. Goa is obviously in a continuous agitation mode when it comes to protecting lands of Goa, protecting the interests of Goa, may it be the double tracking agitation or the Goa Bachao Abhiyan also. Activists are being labelled as against development also. What do you think about that overall?
I feel, Pratik, labeling someone has to have a basis. Like whenever we want to do something, I have learned the hard way, but I care for my state. And like me, there are so many people who care. Some are across the 7 oceans and elsewhere in the world, but they care for Goa. And my predecessors or seniors who struggled to get justice, and we enjoyed the fruits. So we are struggling now so that our children at least get half as much as what we got. And Goa being small and vulnerable, all the more reasons for everybody to be a conscious citizen. That what we do should be detrimental, where foresighted people, how they have gone before us, we must follow in those footsteps. About being branded about against development, I feel very sad to point out, how I wish educationally or with logic and wisdom, our so-called representatives who are in the portals of our assembly do understand the word what is development. And right now they'll say green systems, ecosystems, these are all abused terms. Development also is an abused term. Development of what? Your greed, your pocket, your profits. What are you developing? We look at our state as a society where we all should get everything equal. Like the least of the person also must get the same thing that I can enjoy. I want my clean air, I want my water, I want my shelter, I don't want pollution.
Probably some of them are fundamental rights of the citizens.
Exactly.
Of this country.
I'm coming to that because being NGOs, please don't brand us as that. At least I am personally not in favor of being called an NGO. I'm doing my constitutional duty, my moral right to my मातृभूमी माझे कर्तव्य म्हाका करपा जाय आणि ते हर एक मनशाक करपा मेळटा. Anybody can do it. I'm not doing something extraordinary. I'm bothered and I invest a little of concern and time, and therefore collectively when we find like-minded people, it has become a group where everybody concurs that the system is not delivering. Therefore, we have to spill on to the road after a concerted effort to dialogue, to put sense. But if what we have done can be proved wrong by any expert in the field, well, I'll pack my bags and sit at home and enjoy. But that is not happening.
Abhijit, anti-development or pro-fundamental right of people of the state, what do you think? What do you have to say?
I'd like to take this opportunity to first congratulate the people of Goa. Amazing work. From 2006, when the infamous RP 2011 was rolled out by Mr. Montserrat, it is the people of Goa who have defended Goa. Let us not beat around the bush. The people of Goa have a very clear understanding and vision of what is development. You know, they want to have development for the future generations the same way as for us. So the vision of the people is of justice, peace, equality, conservation. You know, on the other hand, the vision of our governments has been to plunder. Destroy, and completely ignore all ideas of democracy also.
Could you list out, meaning there have been many agitations, could you list out where this has been proven, where they were trying to do it and maybe the court stopped it, maybe the public agitation stopped it? Do you remember some of the agitations?
It is happening all the time. It has happened in 2005, 6, 7, when the regional plan that was prepared by Mr. Montserrat, which showed whole of Goa covered with, you know, settlement zones, it would turn into a city basically, was thrown out because people came on the road. The government, the chief minister was changed. Elections have been fought on the basis of people's struggles. Even the 2017 election was based on regional plan, and the promises were made by the parties that came to be elected that they would keep the people's, the promises were that they would go by the people's decisions. In 2012 also the elections were won based on the regional plan battles. So the government cannot ignore. I mean, in the courts, whenever we go, most of the times we do get the court to be on the side of the people. You know, despite the fact that the courts are also a part of the government, yet the court also can see the fact that the people are right and the government is completely wrong. There are numerous instances, even and very often, like in right now Usgaon, Khandepar, there is this huge issue of a dam being built. But the people are very clear that they want to protect the river, they want to protect the mountains, but you can see the government is saying that the tribals need water, and then they are building this dam which will drown the tribals and take water for industries. So you know, the concept of development that the government has got is basically more profit for the big corporations, and I give a damn for what happens to Goa or to the Goans. The more Goans get displaced, the happier the government is going to be. This is the policy of the government. So it's very clear that it's the people of Goa who have fought. We who are there, we only reflect what the people want. We have never spoken. What I'm speaking
Never
is not
imposed
my
anything
words.
of your
I'm
word.
speaking what the people want me to speak, and I not go outside the ambit of that.
Right.
So we are here only with the people, and it is this is a democracy where you can see that the real democratic the real democracy exists only in the Gram Sabhas today. Only in the Gram Sabhas. We would be better off if the assembly and the parliament were closed down, and we go to a system of self-governing village republics who will give justice and peace to everybody for sure.
That is the development which flows from down to top rather than which is being imposed on the...
Absolutely. In the villages, women, old people, small children, youth, they are the ones who have a clear vision of justice, equality, and, you know, all the good things. And you can see the ministers roaming in 5-star hotels and having a ball of a time with huge amounts of money. They have no clue of development. All they want is to make more and more money for themselves and follow the instructions of, you know, corporates.
Zarina, but I would like you to maybe have a rebuttal to the thing that they have created, that you are the activists are usually anti-development. What would your reply be to the government in this sense?
There have been so many times when we have openly told, come across, these are the people, we are all Goans, let's debate your so-called development. Have they ever come? If they were so people-centric, they would have said, okay, I'm ready just now, let's have a debate. But they are not coming, whether you give them a deadline, dateline, or even the text of the questions what are going to be asked, they never come forth. They hire people from outside Goa who don't know Goa as experts, pay them in crores as their fees and all those things, and plunder us and stay on those bases. Only when people come on the road and tell them and go outside their houses and say, what is it that you're doing? There are so many instances where all these politicians have veered completely from their manifesto. Nobody takes account of that. It comes only on the eve of election, and then it goes to the bin. And the rest of the time, the public-spirited citizens have to beat their boots on the streets. For what? This shows there's this complete lack of conscience, and what they swear on what? On the constitution, on a religious book, on their honor. There is no such thing. They only swear on the words of notes. Which side they are going to jump. That's why you have jumping jacks from this side to that side.
Do you think you can fight this through this medium of activism, or do you think there needs a political resistance to these people who usually get into, they come as better people and then ultimately, do you think a political movement may help the entire?
Right now, the greed, the avarice of politics as a profession, or maybe as a way of professionally, is how, like you would say, like people in some certain businesses, they are dishonorable. Like people will wrinkle their nose and say, I'd rather not do that. But right now, even if a clean person wants to do something good, these people have tarnished the very meaning of the word self-governance, and in a democratic way, they should have the people should interact, no? Now why the darbar is going to people? Because there is a breakdown. There is no efficiency. If you go in the office at the collector, it is not happening. That's why somebody has to run to the minister. And minister thinks he is doing the job. That is not the minister's job. Minister's job is to have a good policy and convince people, after interacting with people, what is good, to devise a good policy. See, they don't even know what is a policy. Policy is what? Somebody writes something and you sell it as policy. If you see the educational qualifications of all these people and you ask them, on a spur of the moment, come on, write an essay or write your own application for this position. See how many can write it.
It's a big discourage. You will be discouraged if you see those.
So we have to educate the political as well as the people from public. They are all educated people who will come and tell you what is wrong.
The thing that Zarina touched upon, you want to have something?
Yes, I'd like to point out that the people's vision of development is amazing, is great, and is the one to be followed. It is only using police force and abusing the powers that are given to the ministers through our electoral democracy. It's only by such abuse that the government is able to push its evil plans of destruction of Goa little by little. So you can see from 2006, the people have been extremely strong and clear in their vision. Shet aste shet, bat aste bat, ran aste ran. We don't want you to change any of the land uses in Goa. These people are extremely clear and people are fighting. The government at every stage is abusing its power. Like 2018, then TCP minister brought the RP back into force. Now you have 16B, 17.2. All of these laws are completely unconstitutional, illegal, against the interests of Goa. It's so they are, and then they are being pushed with using the force of police. People, there are cases against anybody who wants to stand up against everyone. Right now. Forget me, poor people in Sangye, Melaoli, Loli, all across the state. Anyone who wants to stand up and question is immediately facing criminal charges. So that's the way the government is. That very clearly shows what is happening in Goa. Okay, now development. People have a very clear vision, and if people's vision is followed, you'll have abundance, you'll have prosperity, everybody will have employment. For example, agriculture in 2005-06 was on a complete downturn. Everybody was saying finished. There's going to be no agriculture in Goa. This was the norm. It is only that the people, and like Father Bismarck was at the front of Goinche Shetkara Saikot, we were members, and we have brought about a complete change. Today you can see farmers, young people in the fields. You can see agriculture is never going to die in Goa. This has become very clear today. More and more fields are coming back under farming, and this is because of the work of the people. The government is doing its best, showing all the fields as a settlement, trying to force people. You see, the development, a fundamental issue of development is first to bring justice. So the fundamental issue is the land use and the land ownership. So now if you go to the talukas of Ponda, Bicholi, Sattari, Sangye, Pedne, most of our talukas, the people don't have ownership over their houses and even their land, and that's why they are enslaved. This should have been corrected first. That is the first step of development. The Komunidad should have been in the hands of all the villages, all the gaonkas. They are the gaonkas, not a few families. If these two corrections are done, if land rights are given to all the people, everything will fall in place. But the government is not giving the rights. From Tenancy Act is thrown in the bin. Okay, the Code of Komunidad nobody cares for. And our Gaonkari system, they talk about India's heritage. These are the people who are destroying India's heritage. The same guys who talk about India's heritage are killing the Gaonkari, which is the heritage of India and which lives only in Goa. So this is the situation where the people are doing everything. Even if you see the concretization of Bandha, the people are saying don't build them with concrete, build them with the natural material. You know the amount of about 1 lakh people will be employed only to do this. And the money, where is Goa today? 24,000, 30,000 crores in debt. It's because of all of these money-making projects.
Mistakes, small mistakes which are.
If the people are in command, this will be even the debt will be brought to zero within a decade.
That's his answer to how we can reverse this trend.
That has been proved, no? This has been proved. We even started like Shramdan, Ek Dish Shaitan, and people saw the fruits of it, even the food. Organic, everybody wants organic. How many practice it? There are very many who are taking up to that. So you cannot say land is fallow. It is not put to use. That doesn't mean that land is to be blamed. It is our vision, our application of our energies in the right channel has to be there.
It's together with proper government policies,
Yes,
people's
honestly,
participation.
Absolutely.
The
The policies are primarily to blame. That is for sure. It's the government's policy which has led us to this juncture.
Right. So there is a need for a policy change, which means which looks to be a very easy task, but when it comes to pushing for people-centric policies, we have always seen that there has been complete resistance from the government to make sure that policies are made in people-centric manner. But ultimately, people like the activists, the people taking the lead in representing people before the government, like Abhijit and Zarina, they continue to place their views before the government, and hopefully there will be someday when the people's will and the people-centric policies will be coming into the state, which will help the people grow together and have a better future prospect.
While several major issues faced by Goans have reached courts, many agitations in villages have started against road widening and building of dams over rivers. People understanding their basic needs and putting up a fight to save them is the biggest takeaway of the agitations. In the past is the foundation that was laid for a culture that speaks of protecting Goa and fights for it at times. Our special correspondent Pratik Parab with video journalist Mohit Kharangate for Herald TV.